welcoming you back to the desk of Caddicarus. Join us as we partake into a new instalment of Current Quickies.
Hello, my duckies, and this time we'll be having a look at Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5. Phew. This game is a load of shite. Yes, I know, I'm talking about Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 again, after I did my top 10 personal glitches I encountered while getting footage for a review video, believe it or not. And I gotta say, in that video, I didn't give the awfulness of this game any justice whatsoever. So I figured that now I'm doing these shows every Wednesday, I'm gonna ease myself into everything and do a nice, easy, ripping this piece of shit to shreds video to get everything kicked off. There. So what's it like, really? Well...
This game, man, this game. Yes, I know a few points from my top 10 video may be repeated here, but I actually wanted to give this game a proper review before I made my top 10. The top 10 was just an idea I got whilst getting footage for this video, believe it or not, so that just goes to show how ridiculously awful this game is. Do you guys remember the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater franchise? You know, the one that started off decent but aged horribly in my opinion, but only got more refined, more fun, crazier, more customizable, bigger and more memorable with each further installment? Yeah, well imagine if that franchise then decided that 2015 gaming technology wasn't enough to power the next game in the series. Imagine if it all went back to the utter basics. Imagine if all the awesome features that just got more awesome as time went on completely vanished. Imagine if the patch for this game to supposedly make it better was actually bigger than the game itself. And imagine if it was not only a glitchy, poorly performing mess, but also fundamentally didn't work by, for example, having your character not being able to activate missions when the game tells you you can because you have to stop dead in your tracks first before making the command. Now stop imagining it. You don't need to imagine it, because it's here and it exists and it's called Tony Hawk's Pro Skater fucking 5. Where to even begin with this? Okay, well, as a video game, let's have a look. The visuals are dull and badly rendered, and not only does it look on par with many PS2 games, but it's the lifelessness of it all that ruins any chances of the style meaning anything. There are no crazy little details in the scenery, no environmental feedback whenever you do anything with it, no NPCs around just being a part of the scenery, skating around, working, walking around, or anything. It all sucks the visuals into the territory of just lazy and soulless. The controls, one of the most important aspects of any video game, much less a game about precision score building, combo breaking, extreme skateboarding, are terrible. When they work, they're satisfying enough, but for the most time, they're unresponsive, heavy, lock up constantly, and because of the locking up, yes, you guessed it, glitches. Level design is also atrocious and just exists because it's a video game. Ramps are here because it's a skate game. Rails are here because it's a skate game. Flat surfaces are here because it's a skate game. The level design is just a checklist of mandatory things the programmers needed for it to function, which it barely does anyway. You never feel like where the game tells you are. You never feel like an insane skater owning the world with your badass tricks around the local school. You instead feel like a load of 3D textures on wheels testing out an alpha or beta stage of a skating game by a first-time dev. There's a huge lack of artistic consistency or point to everything. Every stage feels exactly the same, but texture swap. With the pre-mentioned school especially, a usual highlight with Tony Hawk games for days gone by, you don't feel like you're rebelling around a living, breathing school and making tricks out of anything in the classic school environment. You just feel like you're at an outdoor place with random shitty ramps everywhere, and that's it. The content as well, where is it? There are barely any stages to explore, barely any bonuses, barely any imagination or twist to the missions, little to no customization at all, including no creator skater for fuck's sake! No special move customizing, and the online mode is so badly tacked on for the sake of it, you'll wonder what else the devs wrote down on their video game making 101 quota. All of these things are bad enough for sure, especially for just a standalone game, but as a Tony Hawk game in particular, well, it's gone so bloody backwards I can't even describe it. Not only has creator skater vanished, but getting off your board and walking around, nah. Special moves, nah, only a handful of them. Crazy story mode with enjoyable cutscenes and stupidly over-the-top missions, nah. A slight sense of humor, imagination, or self-aware nonsense, you guessed it, nah. Not only for a PS4 game, not only for a game released in 2015, not only for a game released at full retail fucking price, and not only for a game this late into the Tony Hawk's franchise, but as any kind of video game, this is literally a fucking disgrace. The only thing I can really say positively about it is that it feels good to land tricks and combos, and that it runs at 60 FPS most of the time, and that some of the missions actually involve careful planning and thinking about how you use the environment to string combos together, but that's literally it. Is this the worst game in the world? I wouldn't say that, but for everything considered, especially for the time it came out and the price it was releasing for, it's unacceptable. It makes a mockery of the franchise that used to be fantastic and has now helped tarnish Tony Hawk's name completely along with Tony Hawk Ride, so much to a point that the skate series is literally all I care about anymore. Stay away, don't buy it, don't support it, and hopefully these producers and publishers will get the message that lazy, rushed, money-grabbing and awful games do not get our praise. They only make us point, laugh, and hate their future endeavors completely unintentionally. More like boner fucks amateur skater, am I right?
This game gets a 1 out of 10. No shame, no regrets. I'm a pro hater for pro skater. Phew.